Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tier, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2795, and that one is Typical Male by Tina Turner. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with her. This song, by the way, was featured on her album called Break Every Real Rule, which came out in 1986, and the song did as well. And the song was a big hit for her, went to number two. Anyway, I'll get into the song a little bit later. First, I want to talk a little bit more about Tina herself. She was known as having some of the best legs in show business. Here's a picture of her showing off her legs. And in case, for those of you who don't want to stare at her legs for the next 5 minutes, I'll just show a picture of her face. She was a very entertaining, very great soul singer, I think. Very entertaining, very charismatic, pretty wild. But I like that about her. And I'm not going to go through her history with Ike. Unfortunately, he had a very terrible marriage with a very abusive man named Ike Turner. He was part of Ike and the Ikeettes. And I guess he hired. I'm not going to go into that, but she was married to him for like 15 years, and it didn't work out, obviously. And I'm glad she got out of that marriage. And once she got out of the relationship with Ike, she had a really, really successful solo career. And I'm just going to talk about her solo hits. So, her first solo hit was in 1975. It was called Baby Get It On. That only went to number 80. And then in 83, that's when her career really started taking off. Her first hit in 83, I think it was after she already dumped Ike. That was called Let's Get Stay Together. That was a remake of a number one song by Al Green from 1972. Actually, I think I preferred Tina's version, but her version only went to number 26, unfortunately. Then 84, that's when she had a first really big hit. It was actually her only number one hit. It went to number one twice. I'll get into that later. But first time around, it went to number one in 1984. That was What's Love Got to Do with It. And there was even a movie made with that title. It was basically about her horrible relationship with Ike and how she made it on her own finally. And then she had a big string of hits after that. After that one, she had "Better Be Good to Me," which went to number five, and "Private Dancer," which went to number seven. In 1985, she had "Show Some Respect," which went to number 37. "We Don't Need Another Hero," subtitled "Thunderdome," which went to number two. I have a funny story about that one. I'm going to digress a little bit for a minute. When I first heard that song, "We Don't Need Another Hero," I never saw the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. That's the movie the song was featured in. And I saw one Mad Max movie I really hated. It was The Road Warrior. I think it was the first one. A post-apocalyptic scenario of, I guess, just a lot of derelicts on the road after a nuclear war, just fighting for survival on the highway. I didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea at all. So I never saw any of the sequels. But when I first heard the song "We Don't Need Another Hero," I actually thought it was released on the same album as "We Are the World." I bought that. I didn't buy the album. I bought the single "We Are the World." In case you guys don't remember, that was recorded by a group called USA for Africa. It was a one-time group. 45 very famous rock singers all got together to record that song. I think they recorded an entire album. And all the funds went to help the starving people in Ethiopia. And I bought it for that reason. I wanted to help, in the world hunger in Ethiopia. I think eventually it did end. They had a huge concert about it. And the song "We Are the World" is pretty good, and it's coming up later on my list. I'm not going to say how high. But she sang in that. I think she sang something like "We're all part of God's great big family." And then Then she had the next year she had this the song "We Don't Need Another Hero," and she says "We Are the Children," which is a line from "We Are the World." So I just assumed this was another song from that album, and I was a little bit disappointed when I learned it wasn't. And I kind of like the line, "We don't need another hero." I mean, this song is coming up on my list, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about it now, but actually came that title of that song inspired me to write a quote. I've been coming up with all these spiritual quotes. I even wrote a book called My Spiritual Journey, came out a couple of years ago. And one of the quotes I came up with, it was inspired by the title of that song. I said, your biggest hero should be yourself. Think about that one. Anyway, on with the rest of her hits. Then she had, after that she had One of the Living, that went to number 15. We Don't Need Another Hero, by the way, went to number 2. In 86 she had the one I'm featuring today, Typical Male, that also went to number 2. Not really one of my favorites of hers. I guess that's why it's not so high on my list. Um, I'm a pretty atypical male, for those of you who want to know. So maybe I wouldn't have been a good match for Tina. Oh well. Anyway, then she had Two People, which went to number 30. In 87, she had What You Get Is What You See, which went to number 13. And then she had Break Every Rule, the title track of the album. That only went to number 74. Then in 1989, she had The Best, which went to number 15. Steamy Windows, which went to number 39. In 1992, she had I Don't Want to Fight, which went to number 9. In 93, she had Why Must We Wait Until Tonight, which went to number 97. In 96, she had Missing You, which went to number 84. And then finally, 2020, this is just, a few years ago, 3 years before she died. Her last big hit was a remake of her own hit, What's Love Got to Do with It, along with another singer named Kygo. I never even heard of him. But this one went to number 1. So she went to number 1 twice with the same song. The only other person I know who ever did that was Chubby Checker, who hit twice with a twist. And I think it was the same recording. I think these were different recordings. The only other artist I know of who had 2 different recordings of his own song is Neil Sedaka, who had 2 versions of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. There have probably been a few others that I'm not thinking of. But anyway, those were the hits she had. And I think I already said what I have to say about this song, Typical Male. Like I said, not really one of my favorites. But I think Tina Turner was a fantastic musician. And anyway, that's my profile on Typical Male by Tina Turner. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.